You know what's coming now, don't you? Burning
Give
question.
me.
Has AI given you more free time? Neurodiversity, ADHD, and dyslexia. That sounds like three things I think I possibly have. Lexie, tell me more. Tell me more.
Everybody's going to have something that they're mine. Like,
Yeah,
that's all I
right.
can say. It's simple as
Wow.
that. I didn't
Wow.
know about the ADHD like most people nowadays until I was an adult.
Yeah.
However, tracing it back, my mum was like, yeah, that does sound like you.
No way.
So it's like,
No way.
yeah, how did nobody notice it?
I think it's really funny because so many people that, I mean, I didn't even know anything about ADHD. And then when I was actually reading something recently, the symptoms of ADHD and all that, and I was like, yep. I was like, wow, my God. I likened it to when my daughter was diagnosed with the George syndrome because they said to us, don't read the internet. Is
Yeah.
that what you did? Like, how do people?
No, for me, the reason I found out about ADHD is because one of my cousins has ADHD and she'd been going through the process and she started talking about it. And each time she went through the process telling me something, I was thinking, this sounds similar to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's more the under crazy side, I kind of what you call it. Whereas I'm more the combination type. So it was quite interesting. She was talking about it from quite a calm perspective, and I was thinking, yeah, this is quite interesting. Yeah, a little bit like me, not quite. And then she started talking about the other side of it, and I was like, yeah. Did I jump over tables at school? Yeah.
Wow.
Did I do all kinds of crazy things as a child? Yeah. Am I still doing them now? That's definitely me.
It's quite
But
funny, isn't it? Bart Simpson, classic ADHD, right?
yes, 100%, 100%.
That's why I resonated with Bart Simpson as a kid.
Oh, I was thinking, yes, Bart Simpson did it. I did it, probably.
You know, there's a scene in one of the Bart Simpson episodes where he sings Popeye the Sailor Man, but instead of saying spinach, he says Ritalin, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, is there a way you cope with? I mean, like, because like dyslexia for me as well. Like, I mean, let's be honest, that's a really hard word to spell, isn't it?
But every dyslexic person knows how to spell it.
Well, maybe I'm not dyslexic then because I haven't got a bloody clue.
That's the number one rule. If you can't spell dyslexia, you're not dyslexic.
Right. Okay.
Everybody knows that. It's like Fight Club.
Amazing. Well, welcome to Andy's what's it called? Diagnosis talk.
A hotline, yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about Lexie and like what you do and you know, social for creatives and where does that all come from?
So basically I run Socials for Creatives, which is a social media management and AI coaching company, I suppose,
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And the whole entire concept behind it is to, obviously, it's kind of like what it says on the tin, social media for creative, and which it doesn't say well-being businesses. And the reason for that is because I like to work with businesses that have meaning and purpose. And for me, when I discovered that doing social media marketing made me a marketer, I kind of went, ugh, nobody wants to be a marketer. I don't want to sell anything to anybody. Nobody needs a new car or another phone or whatever else.
Yeah.
So this is what drew me towards the more heart-led and that sort of direction, to ensure that I was working with people who were selling with meaning and had a purpose and wanted to bring more, I suppose, more positivity to the world and more greatness to the world. And so that's where the whole concept of the business came from.
More greatness. The magic mug.
More greatness.
I mean, I've got loads of props, honestly.
I need to start having more props around me. Need to prop up my life.
Oh, actually, do you know what? Before we start, I should actually confess this is the first time on the Coffee Chaos and Confidence podcast that I've had a cup of tea. I've got a herbal tea. And
I'm feeling
do you know
special.
what?
I
I
like
was
a herbal
actually so
tea.
conscious of it, I cut the tag off so no one could see. And then I thought, I'm going to admit, I'm going to tell everyone I've had a cup of tea.
Yeah, do it. And a herbal tea, nonetheless, it's tea that's good for you.
It's called
No
Breathe
extra
Deep.
caffeine needed.
Breathe Deep by Yogi Tea. I don't know if you've ever tried them. They got like a little like a positive mantra type intention that goes on the little tag. It's great.
I feel like I need to invest.
You do.
This sounds really good.
Yeah,
When you're having a bad day and you're like, it just says chill out, and you're like, yes, I can do this.
Yeah. Amazing. Sorry,
Everything comes to those who wait.
carry on.
I actually have lost my train of thought. Thank you, Andy.
Excellent. Well done. Welcome to neurodiversity. So who when you say like social for creatives, I mean, I'm quite into my archetypes and so forth, and I know that I fall into the magician archetype,
Yeah.
more the jester for me. But then obviously I know I'm a bit of a saboteur as well. Is that something that when you talk about creative, that was weird. I've got a bit of a weird energy then between my hands, and I was like, oh my God. Is that
Making
something?
energy orbs.
Yeah, is that something that do you find that yourself? Like, do you find that you're like either like all or like boom, nothing in that kind of scenario?
I'd say I'm more.
I call it like create or crush, because I'm like, sometimes it's like everything's like, woohoo, I'm like, look at this amazing picture. And then I'm like, that shit.
I know what you mean. No, I'm more. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Drawn it. Yeah, that's nice. Done it. And then I'm like, yeah, done it now. That looks lovely. And then other people go, oh, that's really good. And I'll be like, hey, so, but it's done now.
Yeah.
Move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm more like, yeah, it's done. Let's move on. Next thing. Let's keep moving forwards, which is kind of handy with working in social media because obviously it moves so quick. And now building in the AI element, it moves so quick. It means that I'm learning things very quickly and then implementing them very quickly.
Yeah.
And creating the change in the next step very quickly.
Yeah. When you say about like the change, that's something, I don't know if you feel this as well, but I feel like everything, I mean, I nearly went into everything changes then. I'm not sure I should start singing. But
Do it.
yeah. Thing is, the worst part about it is I probably know all the words. I'm like, oh my God. Do you how do you keep up with the change? Because honestly, I've got like 5 different AI apps on my phone. I've got like 7 or 8 different social media apps on my phone. I was only talking to Ashley Leeds yesterday, and he was talking about just stick to one lane, stick to, guitarists, only learn the guitar, don't learn everything, because then you don't become the master of
Nothing.
everything. None.
Yeah.
And I kind of see it from both angles, because I know that, not everyone uses the same platform as me. And I know that not everyone likes the same platform as me. I love Instagram. I'm my right thumb on
Yep.
Instagram. I absolutely love it. But do you know what? From a marketing perspective, for me, it's awful. But then other platforms, I find I'm like, oh my God, like all I did was say hi and I got 3 leads. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there a way that you kind of find that, like, is it different for different industries?
So, I think so. You've got 2 questions there. So I'm going to go with the second one first, which is I think from a sort of where you're talking about social media and the fact that on Instagram you struggle more, but maybe on a different platform it's better. I think it's just about knowing where your audience is
Yeah.
and actually knowing that your audience is using each platform for a different reason. So maybe your audience is maybe, for example, using LinkedIn because that's where they talk to you more and they engage more and you've got the right kind of people. But maybe Instagram is the place where people are looking and lurking. So
Yeah.
it's just a second place to have another contact point with you. And if you think you've got to have about, I think it keeps going up. I think it's about 20 points of contact as a minimum
Yeah. Touch
before
points,
somebody
isn't it?
will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all you're doing is increasing them touch points. So even though it seems like it's completely useless being there because no one's interacting, it doesn't mean that nobody's watching. Because
Yeah.
I find the same sometimes in my posts. I'll hardly get any interactions. But if I go into my stories, the day I post a story, I will get at least 30 views. That's my minimum in a story. And I know that tells me that people are watching, that they're
Yeah.
just not commenting, liking, whatever in the actual posts.
Yeah.
So it's just to remember that for yourself. So that, I guess that's the first part of your question. And for your second one around AI, how do you stay ahead, or how do you know what platforms,
Well,
what AI to use, or can you use too many?
Yeah,
That's the question, isn't it?
can you use too many? I don't know. I mean, I've got to be honest, I've actually asked the same question to 2 different AIs before, and I've sat there and gone like, right, that's like me asking my daughter the same question twice, and she gives me 2 different answers.
And you can ask the same AI the same question twice, and it'll give you a different answer.
Yeah,
Which is even
exactly.
more fun. You're like, do I trust you now?
Yeah.
But no, I don't think you can use too many. I think you can confuse yourself easily.
Yeah.
But I think it's about finding the ones that work best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, as a business, I come from the perspective of working from a place that's right for you and finding the way that works for you.
Yeah.
And that applies for the same with the different AIs you use and the different ways you use the AI. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'll use ChatGPT to do my strategy, but I
Hmm.
won't use it to write my posts
Yeah.
or to help me edit posts or to even, to some extent, I don't always use it for the research. I might use Claude or I might use another platform
I
just
love
because
Claude.
I
Claude's
love
awesome.
Claude Snap.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain Claude to my brother.
Yeah.
He was completely not AI tech until well this week, and now he's gone mad on it.
Yeah.
But Claude, I feel like it's like your little brother.
Do you
Like
know? Do you
you,
know what I think they did? They gave Claude an old man's name, so you think, no, he's wise. He is
yes, yeah,
wise.
yeah, 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 yeah. But is like a little character in his own right. I feel like with Claude, because where ChatGPT is like, yeah, 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 I know everything. Yeah, yeah, whatever. Yeah, yeah. Here's the answer. There you go. Claude's a bit more like, let me just take a moment to listen to you. So I've really taken on board what you're saying, and this is my answer. Are you happy with that? And I'm like, yes, Claude. I love you too.
I saw a post. I don't think it was you that shared it, but it says something along the lines of by saying thank you to ChatGPT, they're saying that
Oh,
OpenAI was saying that it's costing them millions of dollars a year
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
basically they're having to reply, and you're going, thank you very much. Mad, isn't it? Do you know what's funny? When
It is
I
mad.
I only actually started using Claude after doing the which I don't know if you did the Seth Godin masterclass that he did with the Atomicon guys on their networking week.
Yeah, yeah, I did see
And
it. It was so
Seth,
good.
Seth was on there and he was basically talking about Claude. And I used Claude like probably a couple of years ago when it first came out. It was all right, you know. But yeah, do you know what? I genuinely don't think I realized I was using it and it was AI at the time. I think I just saw, because remember, we used to have Ask Jeeves, remember? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and you know, and ineffectively, they are, in a way, they are like an optimized search engine, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, completely. And you're
Yeah.
right, it's very much just like having a nice little conversation.
Yeah.
It it
Yeah.
it doesn't feel that scary or that big.
No, no. My favorite thing I've done with AI so far is basically I was struggling with a sum to work out on a Google Doc, on a Google Sheet spreadsheet. And I just basically said, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want it to do that and I want it to be on. And I was like, never going to work. And it gave it to me and I just copied and pasted it in. And I was like, oh my God. Because you can talk to it how in layman's terms, right?
Yeah,
Whereas sometimes
yeah.
when you do search stuff, you go, oh, I want to do this. And gives you this blog where someone's talking about it. So
And you're like, "That is not the answer I was looking for. I was just looking for the answer,
yeah, yeah,
not the way to actually learn how to do it."
yeah.
So in that sense, does it make you worry a little bit about how dumb we're going to get if we don't engage our brains sometimes?
Well, do you know what? I know we just talked about this previously, but I just went to Spain and I got back and I thought we went through the passport control and you've got the bit where you go in and you now got a screen and you slide your passport in and that's passport control. You don't look at the guy with the gun
Yeah.
and the sheriff badge and
And the
go,
base like,
I've got nothing to be guilty about. Why am I shitting my pants? And I'm there holding my daughter's hand. I think I'm sweating. Why am I sweating? That was in Spain. Get back to England, and we go through the AI on the way back through. And there's one woman, and there was part of me that went, "This is awesome. Look at the queue. It's gone straight through." And then all I could think afterwards was, "Oh my god, there was usually like 20 booths here, and they've all not got jobs
yeah,
now." And I love it. I've talked about this before, but Deepak Chopra talked about when it comes to AI about actually that now means that you can actually focus your attention on something else. So that actually is going to alleviate that. And I think I think that's a better way of looking at it.
yeah. I think that that is a much better way of looking at it, and also the fact that I think we're at this stage kind of like when computers started, if you didn't learn how to use a computer, you would be out of a job
Yeah.
because you needed to have certain skill sets. And I think it's exactly the same for AI. You need certain skill sets to move forwards as an individual in any role, including as a business owner. And I think the sooner you can master those skill sets, the better you'll be. Especially there's a lot of talk about the next 5 years in AI is the big year. To be honest, I think it's probably shorter than that with how quick it's moving. So it's really important you make that impact now to really get yourself to the next step and understand it to be able to be ready for when the next step and the next change comes along because it is going to keep changing, but it's better that you learn it now so you understand the basics of it to be able to use it when it gets more complex.
Is there anything that AI is not doing that you'd love it to do?
Oh, to just give us free money. I mean, doesn't everybody want
Oh,
that?
free money.
And extra time.
Yeah, but that would make us all dumb, right?
I know, wouldn't it? Or at least, fold my clothes washing for me and all the boring stuff that all of us hates doing. Wash the pots, I
Yeah,
suppose you've got a dishwasher for that, but if it could load the dishwasher.
that would be cool. But then you know that you've got to get your kid to load it nearer the dishwasher, not in like the dishwasher, not leave it on the table. The AI is like,
Yeah.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah. It's so
I
true.
I actually thought about this the other day, and I think the one thing I think I'd love AI to do is, and I don't, you might even be telling me, Andy, you've just got to switch that on, but I'd love it to remember me. So when I go from one prompt to a next and I start a whole new chat, I feel like each time I have to reintroduce myself. So am I doing something wrong?
Yeah, you can do that already.
Can you? How? How do I do this?
Custom GPTs, that's what they're all about.
Custom
So you
GPTs.
build your own custom GPT, or you get somebody like me who knows how to do it
Right.
and build it with you. And then you can get it to understand your tone of voice, get it to understand your way of working, however you want it to talk to you. ChatGPT has its custom, best friend voice, which is why we all feel great talking to it. You can change it so it talks in an East Midlands dialect, or a Northern dialect, or whatever you want it to do. And it also feed it the information it needs to remember you. So you can give it all of your background information. So I have like a strategy GPT that I have as part of the program so I've got a program called Rise Aligned Intelligence.
Yeah.
And as part of that, I have a custom GPT, which is a strategy GPT that enables businesses to put in their business information and their customer avatar and all the rest of it. And it will create your strategy. And then I will work alongside you to then add in all the extra details you need, ensure that it's correct, and bing, bang, bang, you've got your strategy. Now we can get your social media working in the way you want.
So about 10 minutes ago, I said about my daughter repeating the same thing. That's how I feel every time I use ChatGPT. I'm like, hi, it's Andy. I'm this. This is what I do. This is where I work. This is who my clients are. I mean, it's like massive, but I would
Yeah.
like copy and paste that in at the start of every conversation with. I use Gemini quite a lot because I've always been one of those people that if everyone said, "Well, everyone's wearing red today," I'd turn up in a green shirt.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. I'm
I'm
here
like,
with
when
you.
ChatGPT, I'm like, no, I'm not using ChatGPT because everyone's using it. I'm gonna
I'm
stick
with the
with,
Gemini.
yeah, I'm gonna stick with
Maybe one of the
Gemini.
cool kids.
Yeah, although now everyone's using Gemini as well. I'm like, no, yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
you're following me now.
Like I started a trend.
It's quite funny because I saw the when they were talking about the, I don't know if you've seen these Hoovers. You're talking about the dishwasher, but the
Yeah.
Hoovers that go
Yeah,
round.
I know them. Yeah.
My only problem is I'd come home and my dog had probably like, killed the Hoover, and
Taken apart.
yeah, I'd probably have
Yeah.
to get like one that walks the dog or something.
Yeah.
So how
Now that would be a good use of AI,
yeah, but the thing is, then we'd all
but
be
then you'd be lazy.
fat and sassy, wouldn't we? And
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's not going to work. Take it back.
So tell me a little bit more about how you help people then, because obviously, from someone who doesn't know, by the sounds of it, as I thought I did know something, like now I can go on, like I can go on AI, I can do it. Like why should they work with Lexie? Because like everyone's got AI, right?
Yeah. Everyone can do it.
Yeah, apparently not.
No, I think everyone can do it. You can. It's exactly the same as, and I'm not going to say you can't because, like I say, I'm from a place of integrity and honesty, and I'm not going to say otherwise. But yeah, you can use
Everyone can
anyone can
cook
use
dinner.
ChatGPT. That's it. Everyone can cook dinner exactly. However, not everybody can be a Michelin star chef
Exactly.
because it takes skill, it takes time, it takes the interest, and it's about putting your time and energy where you find the most interest. So if you're enjoying running a coaching business, but you don't enjoy doing the social media, then that's why you hire a social media manager or you get a VA to do what you need in the background, all the rest of it. But I
Mhm.
suppose if you're after growth, you get a social media manager. If you're after just a presence, you might just use a VA.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with AI. So yeah, you can use it. You can kind of learn the prompts and try and use it in a way that you want, but you're going to get to a point, which I think a lot of people are at, where you've seen all these prompts, you're trying them all out, it's getting your brand voice within reason, but there's still things that you just can't get right. And there's
Yeah.
still things that you're still posting, but you're still not getting the traction.
Mhm.
And it's the how do you get the AI to help you to get you past just the posting, and it's just a presence to posting and putting people down your funnel.
Yeah.
So that's the bit that I suppose I do and help people with. So, and for me, it's not just about doing it and there you go, it's done for you. It's about doing it and empowering you to then carry on doing it yourself, to understand why it's done that way, to understand how your account's working so that you're able to then carry on with that.
Yeah.
Because, nobody wants to be, I don't know, paying a subscription for the rest of their life. Nobody wants to do that. But we all
Yeah.
want to learn enough to be able to move forward and feel empowered.
Yeah, it's like personal trainers, isn't it? I
Yeah.
was once told if you're working with a personal trainer for more than 6 months, you either need a new personal trainer or you need a different goal. Because
Yes.
in 6 months, a personal trainer should really have taught you everything you need. I have never had a personal trainer. I have had an online coach for my fitness. And that for me is actually more about accountability. So that's like, you know what I mean? I've already got the skills, but now we need, and I think that's something that I think people need a lot as well, isn't it? When it comes to stuff like that, I've been taught all this stuff, but now I need to put it in process. Um,
Yeah.
so, um, um, when you're like working with people, then is there like do you work with a specific type of like industry, or do you tend to work with
I
different
work
type of
specifically
people?
with small business owners, small to medium business owners, should I say, which I think is pretty much most of the UK or businesses
Hmm.
in total, anyhow.
Hmm.
But like I said, it's about businesses that have got a mission.
Uh-huh.
Generally, they tend to be service-based businesses. But like I say, it's all about the mission. It's all about the reason why you're doing what you're doing rather than just selling a product for the sake of it. So
Yeah.
if you can say, I genuinely need to help these kind of people. And the reason I want to do it is because, whatever background history you've got to do with that kind of person or whatever direction you've got, that's the important bit for me because that's how I tell the story. So in my own social media marketing, that's how I tell the story because we all have that sort of background. And like I said, I didn't start wanting to be a marketer. I was actually repulsed by the idea and then had to see an actual life coach to
Wow.
get through the scenario. And
Yeah.
it's like I said earlier, serendipity. I happened to meet this life coach because I went on a writing course in a pub
Wow.
and I did randomly. So we just got talking to her. Her name's Emma McDevitt. And we
That's
got
a great
chatting
name.
and then I know, isn't it? She is
Yeah.
really cool because I ended up chatting to her, got to know her, and then sort of told her what my problem was. And she says, great, I'll give you a free hour. Let's chat about this. So I was like, brilliant. So we chatted it through and I was like, this is amazing. And then I went on one of her retreats, which genuinely was life changing for me.
Mhm.
And it was a point when I really needed something to give me direction and to give me basis.
Yeah.
And I met a lot of people in really great jobs that from around the world. And it was a whole weekend away with 10 other people. And honestly, it was like, I kind of describe it as a trust circle, which I've never ever done anything like that before.
Mhm.
And it was just the most calming but amazing space where you literally sat next to these people who are absolutely phenomenal in their game, but thinking, wow, we're all connected by the same sort of issues or the problems or the niceties or whatever else is going on. But it was genuinely like so life changing that after that, that's what sort of changed where the way that I worked and the way that I saw the world and the way that I move going forward and
W-
in turn the people I work with.
Was there something that within that then that was like a let go moment for you?
I think for me, I think it was I learned to trust in myself,
Mhm.
and that's what made me really understand how to help others to do the same.
Yeah.
And by that, I think what I mean is I always struggled because I thankfully have this baby face. However, a lot of people don't see me for my age, and it was the same in business
Mhm.
because of my baby face. So a lot of people will talk to me like I'm a child until I tell them my age. And then they're like, oh, sort of sorry. And then they start talking to me like a grown up. And I'm like, that's really interesting, especially if I'm wearing my normal everyday clothes, jeans and t-shirt, then I look even younger still.
Yeah.
Um, and so I realized that sort of took away some of my confidence and power. And then as I went through this process, I realized that actually I just needed to own the fact that I've got a baby face and
Yeah.
own everything else about that and just come in with my usual confidence and brightness.
Yeah.
And just, I'd put it on the table now straight away. Somebody starts talking to me. I'm like, I'm 43, by the way. And then they start talking to me like a grown up.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
43, I've got 4 kids and I've got a business. I'm a grown up. And they're like, okay, cool, let's go for this. And this was a big learning. And this is why it's really important to me about,
It's weird wearing a big
knowing who you are
A
and working
board,
for
isn't
yourself.
it? Saying I'm
Yeah.
43.
I'm
Yeah.
43, got 4 kids, not taking any backlash or anything else.
That's really interesting you say that, because I think I've spent most of my life trying to convince myself I'm 43, a grown up, and like it's funny when you say that, like switching it the other way around, because I've been at networking and business events sometimes, and I know we met via the Atomic Networking Week, and I love the fact that that's not a grey suit and tie type event, and I've been to so many events where they're like, "Hello, boy, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Boy," I'm like, I just want to
You're
fuck
like,
off.
I'm a real grown up, I am.
Yeah, yeah. Start walking around like Peter Pan or Pinocchio.
Yeah, some braces.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's an outfit idea. So, like, was there like a point where like for you, has there ever been that kind of like you say, trying to convince everyone else, but did you have to convince yourself as well?
I think it was about convincing myself.
Hmm.
It was about convincing myself to be okay with the fact that I've got a baby face and the fact that people do treat me like a child unless I put it out there quite early on my age,
Yeah, yeah.
especially if I'm wearing things that aren't worky clothes, even more so. Um, and yeah, I think it's very much from that perspective. But I think that comes down to owning who you are and knowing who you are, and then using that to propel yourself forward rather than thinking, oh God, every time I walk into a room, I'm going to go through this exact same problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's quite funny because I remember a friend of mine who had really, really curly hair. And I'm just looking because you've got curly hair. And she used to get really annoyed. People were like, "Oh, you're so lucky you've got curly hair." She's like, "Really?" Like, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, not that we're not always happy with what we've got, but from the outside world, everything always looks like it's better for everyone else, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because we
Although,
all want what we don't have, don't we? That's the
yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah, I don't want a grey beard, but I'm
But
rocking it.
that's what you got. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Although, what's quite funny is that I've actually the last few years definitely learned to embrace it a lot more in that kind of actually I work on a lot of, looking forward, but measuring back, because you look at what you've been through, what you've done, like you say, you've got 4 kids. And I remember I say when we talked before, you said, would I right in saying you've got twins?
I have got twins. Yeah. 2
Amazing.
younger ones.
I had a
The surprise
conversation.
too.
You might be able to answer a conversation which I had with my one of my best mates, Steve, which was only on Tuesday. He said, "Oh, they've got 2 twins." I said, "2 twins?" He went, "So is that 4 then?" He went, "Yeah, no, they've got 2 pairs of twins." I said, "So is that now 8?" I'm so confused. How do you describe? Is it just one set of
Surely 2
twins?
pairs of twins is 4, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what we got to a point where we just like looked at each other and went, "I do not know."
Because you've
So
just got one set of twins, no?
are they very, do you see that, like, obviously because you're you, do you see them having their own individual traits, but like they have some things in common? I'm like really like interested in that.
On the twin front, I can actually answer this on 2 fronts because I am an identical twin also.
No, hang on a
Yeah,
minute, am I
yeah.
talking to you or
So
your sister?
that classic. So that old wives' tale that twins don't have twins, it's totally not true. The doctors laughed me straight out of the hospital at the point when I was pregnant. They were like,
Wow.
this woman has been drinking the juice for sure.
Wow, no
Um,
way.
but yeah, you hear it all. You hear it all with twins. And no, they do have their own personalities and they are completely, mine are non-identical boy-girl twins, so they are
Yeah,
completely different to each other.
yeah, yeah.
And they don't actually look very similar at all. Like, I don't think you'd know they were twins
Oh wow.
if you weren't told.
Yeah. Oh, amazing, amazing. Have they got similar kind of like are they, do they stick together in that kind of way, or are they just because they're
Oh, no. So one is mega bossy,
nice?
and she is completely bossy princess. I'm still trying to work out how this one came about because my other daughter is very boysy, rough and tumble, bit crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's very, very girly. And every time she does something, I'm like, she goes, "Oh, that's beautiful." And I'm like, where did she learn this? Where does this child come from? And then the little boy twin, he's I'd call him your classic space cadet, just wandering
Oh,
around doing his own
nice,
thing. He's
nice.
brilliant. But you know when you start thinking, that was funny. but why did he do that?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
one of those kids, but he's brilliant, brilliantly hilarious for it.
As a mum then, because I talk a lot with my clients about work-life harmony, is how do you kind of manage that with like, like 4 kids, but also like, you know, no, you don't need to get into too much detail, but like, is there a way that you kind of like set some time out for yourself?
I think I'm in a different position to most people because I'm separated,
Right.
which means I am able to get free time because the children go to their dads for part of the week, which is brilliant because it means that I get a bit of space, they get a bit of space, they come back
Wicked.
and then I'm reset and they're reset. So, um, but what I can say is a learning curve for people who are still married or together or whatever their situation is that learn from the people you know who are separated, the things they're doing with their new partners, because what you start to notice is they've got time in the middle where they're able to spend time with their new partners and have a nice time. So if you're married, why aren't you already doing that, setting that up into your own life? Why aren't you
Yeah.
already sending the kids to Nana and Grandpa's or whoever's and making sure you've got that time with each other?
Yeah.
Because that's what the separated people are doing, and they're having really strong relationships for it because they're remembering to put that time in.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess for me, that gives me my life balance. And also on a school week, I tend to work, school hours and make the most of that and pick up a couple of hours in the evening. And really, so it means that I'm able to be present when I'm at home with the children. But then obviously being self-employed, it's a win.
So you know
Do
what,
what do what you like when you like.
you know what's coming now, don't you? Burning
Go for
question.
it.
Has AI given you more free time?
Yes, actually. I can actually say yes. Yes, it has.
Love that.
Um, just because I have been, for me, because I'm a scattered brain, obviously ADHD we spoke about earlier, it means that I've actually been able to plan my weeks more efficiently.
Mhm.
Because I actually genuinely do put my information into the AI and ask it to organize my week based on somebody with ADHD. And guess what? There's my schedule set up. And then I've literally followed that. And if I'm off schedule, I know because the AI told me so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then next week you could say, do you know what, that didn't work.
Yes.
I struggled
What do I need to
here.
do?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I
See, well,
love
this is the
that.
thing. I think people forget,
It's
we're all
not just content
with dinner
creation,
lists or
right?
whatever. Yeah,
Mm.
no, 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 it's not. It's how do you use it to actually synchronize your life and make it much more simpler and streamlined. And it's not just about buying whatever app because you could probably do it with something else you've already got.
Mhm.
It's just finding the way that works for you. And like I say, for me, I know that whatever I do is only going to last 6 weeks, so I have to switch it up in another 6 weeks, and that's fine for me. And then I'll go back to the original one in another 6 weeks' time, and then it's good.
So I used it to free up my time this week because I had, I think it was 750 calories left. I knew what my protein was left. I knew my carbs and my fats, and I just said, "This is what I've got left for the rest of the day. Can you help me by creating 2 options for a evening snack and an evening meal?" And the 2 options were perfect. And I was like, and you know what the crazy thing is, because the way it broke it down, it gave me how much chicken, how much broccoli, and I was like, okay, cool, made that. And then I was like, oh, I don't need to look really, and I thought I will just check. So I went into my fitness pal, looked at it, and went, it's exactly what I needed. I was like,
Oh, this is epic.
I
I've
mean,
not used it for that yet. I've heard people doing it,
but
but now
I
you may
also
have
used
inspired
it
me.
afterwards. I went, right, so how can I make better, how can I make sure my protein pancakes have got more protein in them without putting protein powder in? And it gave me like all these different options. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, it does feel a bit like Charlie's Angels. Good morning, Charlie. What can I have for breakfast?
If only it would actually just come out, ping, 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 ready for you, just on a nice little plate.
Yeah, you know what? Do you know what, I joke, but stuff's gonna change, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really is. And
it really is.
I think we're getting to a point now where, I used to spend hours and hours editing audio and editing video, and the fact that
Oh, it can
the
make it so much quicker.
DaVinci Resolve has just got a new feature that when you download this DaVinci Resolve 20, so I haven't even got it yet, but you can upload, if you had a script for a movie, as it were, or a short film, you can upload the script, put it into the thing with the files. It will pick up the text and put all the video with all the various shots in order.
Wow.
Stuff like that used to
That is
take me
epic. That is
weeks.
epic.
weeks.
Like, a little bit quicker, more time. That's what you need. More time to do the fun stuff.
Yeah,
That's exactly what you need.
exactly. So on that note, then, what's the one thing the fun thing that you really want to do next? Is there one fun thing that you want to do for you?
Me, I think I'm a little. There's too many options.
It's
Fun things.
you're like, oh, I've got 6 weeks to do the fun thing.
Oh, I've got so much time. So much time. I don't know. I don't know actually. It's just. Do you know what? At the minute, I'm really obsessed with compulsive disorders. I'm really enjoying going through the AI stuff. So at the minute, I'm just researching like mad and looking up new things and trying out new things. So that's kind of my thing at the minute. I suppose my reward whenever I get as far as I want to is trying to book another flight or holiday, which is probably really bad.
No, that's not really bad. That's not really bad. Where would you go?
Well, my next one is probably a bit boring. I want to go to Spain on the next one, but only because I want to take the children because they're learning Spanish at school and they cannot see the point in it. So if they go to Spain, they'll see the point in it and hopefully they'll start paying attention to the Spanish lesson.
Yeah, that's where I went to the gym this morning because I was in Spain last week and the all-inclusive was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So you definitely needed the gym this week.
Do you know what? Again, another classic thing. Like I didn't know what something meant while I was in Spain. It was I can't even say what the right word was now, but they had the coffee machine and it was all in Spanish. And I was like, oh crap, how do I know which one's which? And I just took a photo of it, scanned it with
Google Lens.
Gemini read it and translated it for me. And I was like,
it's amazing.
What? You know, I do think, think 25 years ago, I used to drive around London with the A to Z on my lap. Now you look at how advanced stuff is now, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to find your destination, right?
Yeah, exactly. I went to Poland last year and did the exact same thing that's when I discovered about Google Lens and I was like, this is amazing. Every single menu just going through it like, wow.
Yeah. But the worst thing is with the
It's
Polish
best.
language is they've got loads of extra letters as well, haven't they?
Yeah. But you're like, there's no way dyslexics done for.
Yeah, amazing. So what's next for Lexie? Is there anything on the horizon coming up for you? Anything exciting?
So for me, business-wise,
Yeah.
I am just launching my new program, which is called Rise Aligned Intelligence, which is a 6 weeks coaching program, which enables business owners to use AI to improve their marketing by actually creating a solid strategy and working alongside me to actually align that with their business needs and goals. So as part of that program, you do get a couple of hours coaching directly and quite a lot of group coaching and one-on-one support.
Oh, wow.
Which at the minute, because it's a new program and it's a beta program, I'm selling it at a really low price just so that people can really get to know it and have fun with it and get to know me and have loads of fun and, ask all the questions that feel really stupid to ask other people.
Yeah.
I won't judge because we've all been there and, we've all got to learn somehow. So I guess that's where I'm at. That's my next new fun thing. Like I said, obsessive, AI, keep rolling with it. Go with the thing that I'm loving.
Amazing. So how can people find out about you then, Lexie? What's the best way for people to kind of get in contact with you? Obviously, we'll put the links and stuff in the show notes, but how can people find out about Lexie and Social for Creatives? I've probably just said your Instagram handle, haven't I?
Well, exactly that. Go to Instagram or Facebook for Socials for Creatives. And also you can find me on LinkedIn as Lexie Barker, or I do have a website, which is socialsforcreatives.com. It's that simple. And everything you can want to know is on there. If you did want to find out about the AI coaching program, then just pop into the Instagram and there's a link in bio, which will sign you straight up to the information to be able to find out everything that's going on first.
And do you use the link in the bio?
Yes.
So, there was, when obviously ManyChat was like going crazy and everyone was like, comment this. No one's going to write link in the bio. So I started going, okay, I've just said to you, I want to do differently, right? So I was like, I know you're not a knob and I know you don't need, you know where the link in the bio is. So click the link in the bio. So I would write it because I would make such a thing about it being in the bio that people would be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have a look. And I started getting more inquiries. And I was
more
like,
views for it.
Oh, okay. So I'm doing the opposite of everyone. So
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's all clever marketing. ManyChat, it's all clever marketing. It's meant to make you feel like you're missing out on a situation.
Yeah.
When you're not, you can still do both. And it's just whatever works best for you.
Yeah.
Like I say, everything is about what works best for you, not what you're told should work best for you.
Yes. I love that. What works best for you, not what you're told that works best for you. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Lexie, thank you so much. It's been so good to chat to you. I can't wait to meet you in person at Atomicon in a couple of weeks, which is
Atomicon.
like Atomicon.
Yeah.
Um, I hope I make that actually an actual jingle for
Make it
Atomicon.
happen.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. And that wraps up today's episode of the Coffee, Chaos and Confidence podcast with me, Coach Casey. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps other listeners find the show. Also, go and check out the show notes to learn more about my incredible guests. Until next time, make sure you chase your dreams without limitations.